well, the first thing, I mean, I get that a lot.
Okay.
Young kids, you know, and they'll say, "Hey, Spenny, I've got this great idea for a TV show," and I'll go, "Oh, really? What network is it? Would it be go on?" You know, and they look at me like they have no idea what I'm talking about, and it's like, do your homework. You know, you're trying to sell a product to a broadcasting or cable company that, you know, is it on Comedy Network? Is it on History Network? Is it on NBC? You know, like it's not just about creating the work when you get into the business of making money in this business, right? You know, do your homework, you know, like, fuck, I can't get your show. I can't get my show off the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm fucking, you know, give me a break. And I'm not mean about it.
Right.
But, you know, read a book. I read a ton of books on Hollywood and the industry. Right. You know, I was generally interested in it. It wasn't even a drag. I love doing it. But you got to know your shit. But that's with everything. You got a fighter here. I mean, I guarantee you, he knows his shit about the fighting world, and he's, you know, and he's successful. You got to know your shit. But I don't care if you're a lawyer or you sell shoes. You know what you're doing. And there's so much information out there. There's no excuse not to, except laziness, or wanting it for the wrong reasons. Wanting it for money.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Wanting it for money, or wanting it for fame. I never wanted to be famous. Neither did Kenny. He loves it more than me. But you know, we did the work, right? And that's what got us to where we are, wherever the hell we are. You're right. Without the work, there's nothing. But we focused on the work. We made those movies with Bobby. No one paid us to do it. You know, but that's how we learned how to do it, right?
Do you still take that same attitude now? Like you started from, you know, as kids kind of cobbling stuff together, came through, you know, the rise of the show. You have that background that you can now sort of use to make a career off of as you do different projects. But do you go back to that, like, fuck it, let's just do something?
Well, it's harder. It's harder now, especially when you get into TV. Like, look what you're doing, right? You've got a podcast. You've figured out a way to do it independently, basically. It gets a little difficult when you're doing stuff even on a small scale of Kenny versus Spenny, because, you know, we had to have a cow, and who can sit on a cow? You know, we had to do this, we had to go there, we had to do that. It costs money, and you know, and it's so risky. You know, everybody goes, well, why are you guys on YouTube? Because there's no money in YouTube. No one's really monetizing or figured it out yet, right? It's another reason why I like live. And there's no editorial with live. Nobody tells us what we can or can't say. Right. That's amazing for a guy like me, and certainly for a guy like Kenny, right?
What do you think the future of entertainment looks like? Because you've seen a lot of changes through even just.
Oh yeah, I'm pre-computer. I'm 55. I mean, I remember when there was no computers. I remember when the calculator was like fucking science fiction. Calculator, a Casio calculator. The future, well, I think the biggest problem is going to be oversaturation, because, and it already is, but I don't see that cleaning up. I mean, people have to remember that there used to be 3 channels. And if you had a TV show on that channel, you were fucking famous. That's what everybody watched. Now there's hundreds of channels. There's streaming networks. There's what you do. I mean, you know, and everybody, for whatever reason, not everybody, but many people want to do something creative, which I understand. So then there's just this massive oversaturation. So I think, I guess the only way I can answer it, it's a very complex question, is that the modes will change of how these companies monetize it. The networks are threatened by what cable can do. Cable and the networks are threatened by what the streamers can do. So it's always going to continue evolving. And probably you won't see Norman Lear's anymore, you know, where one guy makes $100 billion. Those days are over. The South Park guys did really, really well. They may be the last guys to really do that. Used to, the digital rights for TV shows, they used to give it to you. They didn't realize how valuable it was. Now try to get the digital rights to a TV show. Good luck. The network takes it. They should. If they're nice, they'll share it with you, but they usually don't even do that because it's valuable now. So it's always changing with the technology.
Do you think it'll just become more independent?
Well, there'll be, whatever. I mean, it's, you know, YouTube's now getting into it because like Netflix, but Netflix they're in debt. People, I was shocked to find that out. they're not going to make money for 6 years according to their projections.
Right.
All this material they're doing, they're in debt. So it's complicated. I mean, I don't know. I think there'll always be underground stuff, always. And because of the internet and having this kind of technology, you know, you'll do it. The problem is going to be reaching audiences. That's always going to be the problem because there's so much. How do you find it?
Right.
Right? So there'll always be kingmakers out there that'll take something like a Justin Bieber who's doing YouTube videos and he'll blow up into a conventional superstar. You know, but I'm really not the guy to ask that question. It's pretty complicated, but I do know that it's changed a hell of a lot
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
Yep.